r/adultery is a subreddit in which people who cheat on their partners come through to talk about those activities, talk about their experiences with people that have that same shared experience, pretty much like any other subreddit, but with a topic that is pretty taboo. If you know me or my content well, then you'd know that I have a pretty strong stance against cheating, so I was very creeped out, to be honest, when I came across this subreddit, and it got me thinking about if there were actually any situations in which I would think that cheating is justified. And I do want to establish right off the bat that I think that if you're in a situation where you are so justifiably scared of your partner that you cannot leave them, but you still want to seek out some sort of romantic engagement, I can understand why you would do that. Outside of that, or some other extreme circumstance, I think that this stuff is really gross and not justifiable in any way. But let's get into the subreddit, let's look at their rules, let's look at how they present themselves to just kind of dig into what's going on here. And one more thing I wanted to mention real quick is a comment that I received semi-recently about cheating, where a person said, hey, you know, I really like the channel, but I hate when you rail against cheating. Relationships are stupid anyway, so why would you take it so seriously? And if anybody else out there has that opinion, just don't get into a relationship. You can date as many people as you want, being single and not being committed to anyone, or if you want to be in a relationship and see other people, find someone that's willing to commit to a situation like that, an open relationship, a polyamorous relationship, whatever category you want it to be. Find someone who will do that. Barring that, cheating is incorrect. Like, those things aren't cheating. Anything with a partner where you're being with somebody else is cheating. Okay, I just wanted to put that out there. So looking at the rules section, we see rule number 4 is no posts asking the community, why do you cheat? Read the subreddit if you actually want to know why some people cheat. Just like everyone in the world has their own reasons for their actions, that is the same of this place and its users. There is no one black and white reason. And rule number 5 is no posts about how the community/users are terrible, awful, disgusting human beings. We've heard it before, and that's interesting because that's how I would usually describe a cheater, and it just seems like they don't want their community members to be harassed. But when you actually dig into the subreddit, it sort of seems like dissenting opinions are always going to go over poorly when you have such an insulated group of people that just want to justify their actions and defend what they do. Looking at this pinned post from 2 years ago, because pinned posts are always important, this says, message to those visiting from r/surviving infidelity, which is a, people who have survived cheating support group, or anyone generally anti-adultery, which is me. As stated in the sidebar, this sub is aimed at people that either 1, are in an affair, or 2, are thinking about affairs. The goal is to offer a place for those thinking or pursuing this path where they can talk about all aspects in an open setting. You are more than welcome to interact with everyone here, ask questions, or provide your own insights. This sub is obviously pro-adultery, but there is nothing against the rules regarding opposing viewpoints. However, there are some things I'd appreciate if you keep in mind. You should realize, in quotes, yes, we know. Most, if not all of us, gave our choices a lot of serious thought before we started down this path, and most, if not all of us, think about it regularly, if not daily. Again, from our sidebar, don't let yourself whitewash the potentially catastrophic results of having an affair can have on spouses, partners, kids, family, friends, etc. This is the path of hell: deception, lies, abuse, trust, and all sorts of other sins around. The moral predicament isn't something everyone can handle, probably for good reason. And I think it's interesting to point out that this information is no longer in the sidebar. So at some point in the past 2 years, they've decided to change the description of their subreddit. Next bullet point. Since this sub is pro-adultery, your opposing viewpoint is in the minority, and the majority of the users here disagree with you by default. Debate and discussion is welcomed, but simply trying to convince us how wrong we are is not. Keep in mind that your viewpoint is shared by pretty much the majority of society everywhere else, so there is no need for you to venture into the lion's den wearing a steak vest trying to convince us to become vegetarians. Please keep judgments and assumptions to a minimum. Generally speaking, you're all adults and should be able to handle heated discussions. You are a hypocrite who is the source of your own problems is a statement that might be part of a heated discussion. You're a lying sad sack of shit who deserves to die is an insult that will not be tolerated. If you would like to interact civilly with everyone here, by all means. If you are here to try and rail against the members here, that will not be allowed. And I do think that this pinned post is pretty reasonable. As much as I deeply disagree with what's going on here, I do think that this is as good of a start as we could get off to. But what's interesting is a more recent post from like a month ago shows a very different side of the moderation team here. The post is titled, Banned from r/adultery? Wondering why you were banned? Seems like several of you are based on your PMs. Did you come here from a cross post just to call us awful? You're going to get banned. Did you come here from a cross post and just ask us why? You're going to get banned. Basically, did you come here from a cross post? Banned. And for the record, I don't give two cheatery fucks about what the rules say. I made those rules and I can ban you if I want to. I also wrote that the moderators reserve the right to ban at their discretion. I'm using my discretion now. If you're not here to contribute thoughtfully, then I see no reason for you to be here. Don't like us? Don't read it then. I didn't personally send invitations to you all for the r/adultery party. You came here all by yourself. Reddit rules also state not to brigade and harass, don't they? So go ahead and keep calling me names, it doesn't bother me. I've heard worse from people who aren't anonymous pussies brigading a sub that hurt their little baby feelings because, aw, boo-hoo, cheating is bad. If I banned you inadvertently and you're actually interested in the subreddit, my apologies, just send me a PM, and comments have been turned off for this post, so even members of the community cannot weigh in on how they feel about this. So from that post, it is abundantly clear that this mod team wants to create a hug box, an echo chamber, so that everybody can feel good about what they're doing by cheating on their partner. We don't want anybody dealing with the actual reality of the damage that they're doing to other people out of pure selfishness. We just want a place where we can feel good and talk to other fucking degenerates about what we do. And obviously your subreddit does not allow people criticizing what you do, but I'm not in your subreddit. I'm just criticizing in the form of a video, so I'm not going to hold back whatsoever. This is just a very weak post from the mod team, in my opinion, and let's get into some of the posts so we can see what the people in this community talk about. This post is entitled On Cutting Yourself Some Slack, and two warnings here. One, there's a decent amount of jargon here, so I'll try and inform you guys of whatever an acronym is when I get to it. Two, there are some sexual themes here, so if that sort of stuff is annoying to you, you might not want to keep watching this video. Adultery is a hard road. We fall in love with our AP, which is a fair partner. Our AP lies to us, or doesn't make enough time for us, or falls in love with us. Our AP ghosts, and then we worry they're dead. Or our AP's OPSEC, operational security, turns out to be shitty and they get caught. We get our AP pregnant, or we have an STI scare that turns out to be nothing, or we actually catch an STI. Our AP lives too far away, so we pine for them, or they live too close, so we worry about bumping into them at Whole Foods, stroller full of children, SO in the produce aisle. Our AP is our partner's sibling, or our sibling's partner, or our child's teacher. There is conflict, and it's sometimes deep. Any sane person who knew what we were up to would ask one question: why? And if we were feeling honest, I'm confident the answers would run along the lines of, it's the validation. Feeling beautiful, dirty, animalistic, cuddly, fierce, delicate, whorish, feeling wanted, intensely by someone or anyone. It's the sex, the patient sex of lovers, the screaming, sloppy sex of pornography. Unplanned sex, car sex, hotel sex, sex in AP's marital bed, delivering a punishment in absentia to the SO who should be there in our place. Sex in public, sex in private, sneaking off to Cali, Florida, Vegas. First time, can't even imagine this with SO sexual experiences. People exploring what makes them people with someone who lets them explore. Any normal person witnessing the end of one of these relationships would ask the same question: why? The storm ends often abruptly as it started. It ends and there is unreality, this emptiness, and it is so empty. We've never been able to tell anyone about it. When it was happening, we wanted to, but now we need to. We need to share our sorrow that it ended too soon. We need to share our joy that it ended, finally. We need the reflection that it would come to an end of any normal relationship in a bar with old friends and a meetup with new friends. We need what dove us into another's arms in the first place: love and acceptance. We call ourselves stupid, worthless, useless, unlovable. Our internal monologue reflects the judgment of people who've never done it or admitted to it. We remember the nights and weekends and the look in our AP's face when they gave themselves to us wholly, and we miss them. We miss them more than we ever knew we could. What could we have done different? Would more honesty have helped? Less? Were we too needy, too giving? Is it us? I don't do this anymore. I screwed up something good once and I don't have the heart for it. But I do have some advice for people that do. When it comes to an end, cut yourself some slack. Reserve the self-judgment/self-analysis for a while. Consider what you'd do if you were involved in a regular relationship and do that. Above all, be kind to yourself. You need love and kindness. It's why you're here. Edit. First, thank you for the gold. I've never received it, and it's incredibly kind. Second, I wrote this, left the office for my grueling commute, came home, and logged in to see the post connected with a lot of folks. So thankful for everyone's kind words. I love you all. So wow, there's a lot to unpack about this post. The first thing that I want to address is this person's description of their why as to why they cheat on their partner, and it really makes me wonder why this subreddit does not allow people to come in and ask why. I mean, I guess the only thing would be, oh, it's annoying to have to explain yourself all the time, but why not just let that thread die if you don't feel like explaining yourself? And if you do want to participate in that thread, why not give your legitimate explanation as to why you do it? Because the only reason I can really think of for not doing that is because you know that the explanation is going to be inadequate, and any normal, as you would describe them, person would cut holes in your justification. Every positive and struggle that this person describes with their affair partner sounds like the same sorts of struggles and positives that you have with a normal relationship. So why are you cheating? Is it because you're just both too weak to leave your partners? You're both too afraid of leaving something stable to finally commit to this affair partner relationship and make it just a regular relationship where neither of you have to sneak around? It just seems like gymnastics. It seems like mental gymnastics to try and give some, oh, well, you know, this is special to me, and the only way that I can actually have it is if I'm cheating. And I would encourage anybody who participates in this subreddit, and I'm sure they already have thought of this and they just compartmentalize it and justify it away and spend time on this subreddit so they can feel good about themselves, to think about the way that they feel when things don't work out with their affair partner and how heartbreaking that is, and then think about the impact that they're having on their current partner. I really do not get it whatsoever. Is it simply just that you want stability and something that will always be there for you, but you also want to have sex with somebody else and have a romantic relationship with somebody else? Alright, this next post has a very different vibe, and it's actually sort of encouraging. I went to the edge of cheating and then backed out, and I'm glad. I've been lurking here for a long time, and I have told, under other throwaways, the story of my long-running crush on a former colleague. The consensus on this sub was about 50-50 whether or not I should cheat. Recently, Crush and I have been spending a lot of time together, alone and with a friend group. I've had some casual touches with my crush, but he was definitely holding back. We texted quite a bit, never sexting, but flirty. I was becoming downright obsessed. I download a counter app on my phone and would tap it every time I thought of him or thought of texting him. I got up to 48 before lunch. I also tried to let him text first, but always broke down and sent something, either to the group chat and aimed it at him or to him directly. And then, almost suddenly, the crush lifted. Why? 1. My husband noticed and cared that I was spending time elsewhere with other guys. 2. I don't have a dead bedroom, and my husband has been willing to play along with some fantasy stuff. See number 1. 3. The more time I spent around said crush, the more I found things to be turned off by. The perfection I'd created was nowhere near real. 4. I suddenly really want this person in my life for the long term as a friend. He's a fabulous, rock-solid friend. 5, I pictured hanging out over the summer with the work group and my husband, and I think we'd have a good time. 6, I started talking about my husband more at group gatherings. I realized I never walked into that space as an available woman. They all know my status. 7, I also pictured my life 5, 10, 20 years from now having cheated and having not. Having not is so much better. Number 8, potential affair partner is single and not done dating or looking up for relationships. 8, potential affair partner is single and not done dating or looking for relationships. I want to be able to hang out with whoever he partners up with. 9, my husband injured his hand and can't wear his wedding ring, so I'm wearing it for him on my right hand middle finger. My ring's on the left hand, his ring on the right. It's been a powerful reminder of what we have. I'm not advising people to go one way or another in your adultery decisions, but I have appreciated reading how other people think, and I thought someone might be interested in mine. First off, I just want to say that I'm very proud of this person for not going through with it. I'm glad they came to all of these realizations, and I think this is a really good thought process for anyone that's thinking about cheating on their partner. Think to yourself, could you be misappropriating your partner's seeming lack of interest in you to them disliking you or hating you when they're actually just depressed or maybe not having a great time in their own life or just having problems in general? Maybe some of it could be your fault. Maybe you're causing the problems here. At the end of the day, I clearly don't get it. Whatever it is for this subreddit, I do not understand it, because I feel like there is always some sort of alternative path other than situations in which you feel leaving your partner would be legitimately dangerous for you. There's always some other option to cheating on your partner, whether it be couples therapy, just directly confronting your partner about the problems in your relationship, divorcing them, leaving them. Like, is it financial security? Is it that stability? Is it because of your kids? Because I can almost guarantee that cheating is not going to help those situations. It's only going to create the potential for things exploding in a way worse way than they would have otherwise. But that's sort of where you guys come in here. I really want your help here. I'd love you to come up with some explanations as to actual justifiable reasons people would have for cheating on their partner. And I'm going to put a disclaimer in the comments, and I'm making a disclaimer right now. Anything you say in the comments is not going to be held as your actual belief. I just want you to try and come up with some reason legitimately that people could want to do this, and I'll be hearting a bunch of those comments, and I want people to have like a rational discussion about it and not attack each other. Just let's try and figure this out, because I personally think it's always unnecessary, but yeah, let me know what you guys think. I would like to give my deepest appreciation to our top tier channel members: Miss Inked, Hyper Ninja Child, Jared D, Regrettable Stitches, Allison B, For Jared, Connor G, Cryptid Fennec, Kaya Bay, Tasha K, and Catco, as well as everyone else you see on your screen. If you'd like to support the channel financially, you can consider hitting that join button below, becoming a channel member, gaining some perks while also supporting the channel. Either way, if you just want to, watch the videos normally, that helps me out incredibly. It's cool that you guys are just hanging out, enjoying the content. We can talk about stuff, and, we can, have some discourse on topics like this. So I hope you're all doing super well, skating on to the best of your abilities, taking care of yourselves and the people around you. Drinking water? Did I already say that? I don't know. But I'll see you guys very soon. Peace out, Cub Scouts.